Hey, my name is fuck. Ah, my name is Yufi, and this is a little bit of a unusual video. Now, depending on if I'm actually gonna post this, I don't know. This is gonna be a little bit of a weird one, not as much as this is for you who's watching. Is actually more for me, more as a personal thing, because I really need to get rid of a lot of stuff. And I'm gonna see if this helps me. And then if there's somebody out there, could be you who's watching, somebody that might be able to relate to this, then you might break this apart or something. I don't know. For the purposes of me actually being able to focus on whatever topic I'm talking about, and in a sense just like keep a clear focus on whatever I wanna like try to elaborate or focus on, I will not be having any webcam or like myself, because I seem to have a problem with I'm filming myself, that I do have a little bit of a problem of keeping my attention to the right thing and stuff like that. Instead of that, I'm probably gonna leave in some gameplay, so there you go. Welcome. I'm playing some Destiny 2 lately, so I'm gonna put that in as a background filler. I don't know. I'm gonna keep this as red line as possible, so it's easy to understand. I'm gonna go over a lot of different topics. Hopefully this won't take an insane amount of time, but I really do want to go over a different amount of things. And I will make a disclaimer though, that if I do mention anybody here, it's not out of ill content. It's not about calling somebody out. It's more about, so it fits more the picture. I'm not here to trash talk anybody or put anybody on, like put anybody out there. That's not my intentions. I don't want to do that. Now, let's start from ground zero. Ground zero meaning where the beginning of when this might have started, because I don't know. But a little over 1.5 years ago, I started streaming VR chat. Now, I've made content on VR chat way before that. I streamed way before that. It was kind of my comeback to doing VR chat content. I quite enjoyed it. I didn't hate VR chat, and I don't really hate VR chat now. But for me, it was a very important era, let's say, of whatever my streaming career was now, or is now, or was. And it took me a lot of different places. It allowed me to meet a lot of different people, make a lot of different connections, and make a lot of different friends. And this carried on for quite a while. While I was in a relationship at this point, my life had its ups and downs, and I was also currently in the move, in a sense. Not before long, I had to move because of the relationship, the partner I was with at given point. They got an opportunity to basically get a job at a different place to finish their studies. So we moved. And not huge, but it did have consequences for me, because I was well established in the town I was in. I had a job. I didn't necessarily had a well-educated job or anything, but it was good enough for me. I made money. I had an income. I had a network, and I had friends. And necessarily, it doesn't mean that you lose your friends because you move that far. But already at that point, I was on a thin line where I had not a good connection with my friends already at that point. I was already beginning to be very isolated. I was very focused on whatever I was doing and what I would enjoy to do, which was, doing content. I had like tunnel vision on this. So I had a very easy time basically pushing everything away from this one thing. That was not very good. Now that we moved, everything began to change, because when we moved, I was supposed to go start a new life, in a sense. I was supposed to catch up on studies. I was supposed to go to university, and it didn't quite go well to start with, because the university I searched into, or I applied for, didn't really answer me back when I already moved, which meant there was no income. Because in my country, if you study, you can apply for something called SU, which means they pay you to study, in a sense, until you're done. I mean, no income. And that was kind of a problem at that point, but it got fixed. I started very late, which meant I had a lot to catch up on. Now, at this point, I think we're around a little bit before Christmas. And I think my mind is a little bit sunk out because I haven't talked about this for a very long time. Now, around Christmas, it started going a little bit haywire because having to catch up with all of these things, like all the studies, all the like little bit more heavy stuff, and I had to stop and study for a while, and being very tunnel visioned, my relationship started to deteriorate, but you know, without anybody really noticing, like either me or the person I was with at that point. It didn't really go well, which reflected me personally in a sense. Now, then in January, after Christmas, which would mean 2019, I was starting to go off very well with my streaming career. I wouldn't say like I was anywhere near getting partnered, but I managed to get affiliated, which meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to anyone who reached that point. And my numbers steadily grew, built a huge network online. People knew who I was, and that was very important, and it was fulfilling to see, and it kind of got me to the point that I got even more tunnel vision because I started to have this fake vision that, oh, this might actually go somewhere, which was my first mistake, which led to let's say, I had a hard time bouncing all my balls at the same time. So that meaning, you know, education, my content creating, my personal life, everything. But I did somehow manage. I also managed to get a side job, which was not the best idea, but I managed. Also because I kind of felt forced to, but that's another story. I don't want to get too much in because eventually start getting to the point where we're going to throw punches, and I don't want to go into that. But eventually I got news about my grandfather after my grandmother half a year ago passed away, was doing even worse, and was apparently in the terminal line, which meant, for those of you who know, it means that's the last stop before, you know. That put a very, very severe, it put a lot of stress on me because I didn't really know how to handle it because my family as a whole was not very well put together in a sense like that. I lost a lot of family over the years. I don't really have that much, as well as I don't really have a good relationship with a lot of my family. I do with some, or one, but I don't, and especially what I have now, which sums up to like 2 people who are blood related, and that is kind of it, like fully blood related. So it started to go worse and worse. Then someday, my partner at that point decided to split up with me, and I kind of knew the reasons, but she never told me, and it kind of hit me like a rock, as a little bit after, I also lost my job, I lost my studies. And because, you know, you lose your job, you lose your studies, and because the major of my income was because I got paid to study, I lost all my income. And that would then eventually mean I lost my place in my apartment. Like, I didn't have anywhere to live. So eventually I would have to move out with no money, no savings. And you can say, yeah, as a person, you should have savings, you should have like a backup plan, stuff like that. I'm the kind of person now, the way I was brought up, I never really had a chance to have that, be able to. I probably could have saved over a very, very long term, but that was just not what I had. And that was also a very great mistake. So I do see that now. It was kind of like, it was very complicated, but I don't want to give any excuse for why. So taking this hit, losing everything, I did my third biggest mistake, which was what I could do. So I'm not the kind of person that is very good at talking about my problems to other people. I don't like sharing my burdens per se. I don't like sharing unnecessary, just like negative stuff online on social media or talking to friends about very depressive stuff. I tend to keep this and fix it by myself. I don't see a reason to, and I still don't. So I had all of this bound in by myself, which kind of changed me as a person a little bit. I got a lot of huge mood swings. It heavily deteriorated my mental health, which outwards kind of afflicted a lot of my friendships, because even though I did tell some what was going on to some extent, they didn't take it very well. And the only thing at that point I could see I could do was doing what I was so tunnel visioned and like ambitious about, that I hoped somewhere deep down was focusing so heavily on doing content creating. Because if you already don't have any money, your stress levels, I don't want to say depression because I was never diagnosed for it at that point. So, but let's say like I was at bottom level, way beyond. And I felt like I've lost everything at that point. It was not easy to force being happy, but I did the best I could. And I managed to somewhat from the support that I got. I wouldn't say I got a lot of like, let's say a lot of support because I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask. I never wanted to ask anything that's due to money, anything that's due to like economy, anything like that. I fucking hate it. It's the worst as a principle because it's a very awkward topic, especially to talk about to other people. Even though some good friends did, and I appreciate them, and I tried to do everything I've done to pay them back as best as I could. But it still didn't help a lot, but it did make it go by easier. Not that I could pay my rent, but I could basically just buy food. But eventually I did eat raw pasta. I don't have an excuse for why I ate raw pasta, but that's what I did. And then I finally, at some point, with a little bit of help from one of my best friends, which is called Matrix, it pushed me a little bit at that point. I finally curved in and I contacted my sister, or basically told her everything that's happened and if I could eventually borrow a room for a while I was sorting my life, in a sense, because I needed to sort out everything. She said, yeah, of course. She gave me, and she asked if I wanted to move in immediately, and I said no, because I needed time alone. I was very conflicted at that point, and I don't think I actually did need time alone, but that was what I felt, so I did, and I tried as hard as I could to make as much money to back myself up, but eventually it didn't really help that much. Before I moved, I had two good friends. I'm not gonna mention it, but I do think some people will know who they were, and I'm super happy that I ever met them. I've known them for a very long time. We hung out every day, we talked every day, and it hurt me a lot that around that point, or a little bit after, that relationship kind of deteriorated with both of them, and then soon after more. And I did say my sorries for what I have done, but that didn't help anything. And to this day, we still don't talk, and I do miss them. I do miss them a lot. But then again, I'm not in a position where I can just fix that kind of stuff, which it doesn't necessarily weigh on me as much as it did, but do I miss them? Yeah, of course I do. But there's not really too much to do about it anymore. Now, after I moved, not only my relationship to them deteriorated, but my relationship to a lot of other people deteriorated as well because I became very enclosed. And I would say I got a little bit too good friends with alcohol. I started drinking. I started smoking more heavily because I kind of found solitude in that. And my sister then eventually said, hey, why don't you do this? Which is basically a program for people that don't know what to do in my country. Kind of help you a little bit. They give you money and they kind of help you on your way. Like, you're gonna be here for a while, you're gonna meet up, you're gonna talk to other people, do different stuff. And as much as I thought this is a fucking waste of time, I did it because she said it. I could at least listen to her after she gave me a place to live, essentially. So that's what I did. And then I met a very wonderful person, which means more than the world to me now, which is my fiance. A lot of people have said that you're moving a little bit too fast, but when it really burst down to it, at that point, I was so deep in the barrel that I honestly didn't know what to do. And I couldn't care less what would happen to me and anything else. So I was, you know what? At this point, I can truly say I live once. And even if it doesn't work, hey, I don't lose anything. I couldn't lose anything because I've already lost everything. So, but that was bound to be the best choice of my life. More about that later. From that point on, I lost a lot of connections to a lot of my relationship with people because I also swore at that time that I would stop doing VR chat content. Solely because I became less empathetic with other people. I'm sorry to say this, but a lot of people that do play VR chat are not the most positive kind of people, and I kind of saw this was a hindrance for me to actually get better. And I stopped also enjoying doing VR chat content because it was not fulfilling anymore. I didn't want to do it. And for a very long term, I also pondered a lot about, or just content creating indefinitely, because I wanted to focus on this relationship I was building, because I did believe that which I'm very happy about now, and I still do, that this is what I want to focus on in life now. I don't care about anything else. This is what I want. So I'm gonna make every decision I've made so far is to basically be sure that's my main goal. And after I pushed away from VR chat, that made me lose a lot of friends. And when I'm saying a lot, I would say mostly everyone I talk to, almost, at that given point. Nobody had interest anymore in somebody who couldn't bring anything to the table. Or at least that was how it looks. That was how it felt. And logically speaking, it also makes sense. I no longer had any value to anyone. And that's okay. And that also made me realize more that as a content creator, to other content creators, if you have no value, if you don't have anything to bring to the table, you don't mean anything. As mean as it sounds, and a lot of people are gonna disagree with this, but the facts are, that was what happened. I had a lot of good stuff coming. I had a podcast that did severely well. I had a good standing with a lot of people. I had a huge network. My stream was not half bad. People enjoyed it. People saw it as an opportunity. Hey, you're actually doing pretty well. You seem pretty legit. But as soon as I said, no more VR chat, that disappeared. And my numbers steadily declined a lot. And over time, I stopped thinking about it. I kind of pushed myself out of the tunnel vision I once had. And I reflected on it. I was like, that is not the reason why I started doing streaming or anything. I started doing it because I enjoyed being creative. The pure vision and ambition and motivation I had for anything was just being creative on a platform. And if somebody out there enjoyed it, made them laugh, or however stupid I fucking sound, then that made me happy. And that is what I kept doing from that point on. Even though my numbers steadily fell, it started to become very less meaningful for me. Enjoy doing I enjoy playing games on highest difficulty and really challenge myself. And if people really enjoyed this, which some people did, some people enjoyed seeing old games again that they have never played or didn't want to, and they really felt that was cool to see, and they really enjoyed it. And hey, I'm happy that meant something to you. So I kept doing it. And I can honestly thank one of the hugest inspiration in streaming that I've ever had, which is a guy called Elisha, which also streams on Twitch. If you want to check him out, you can. I'm gonna leave him down below. It has nothing to do with this, but I'm just mentioning it. And I saw an opportunity to basically better myself in what I did. Stop focusing, to stop being what I did, but move forward with a fresh mind and more positive than ever. And over time, it did get better. I moved out. I was happy in January, a little bit before I moved out. I even went to Russia to visit my fiance. And that is the best. That was the best trip in my entire life. Scary, stressful, and everything else. Last place on earth I ever thought I would go to was Russia. It also gave me an opportunity to meet one of my best friends now, which is Mark. Stupid as it sounds, but man, I miss you, Mark. I miss you. I hate you. You're a fucking ass, but I miss you, man. That was the greatest time of my life. I generally enjoyed it, every single second of it. And I miss my wife so much, especially because of this fucking corona thing. Now, some of you might think that, okay, but what about now? Or does it have anything to do with corona? Not so much. My life didn't really change because of it. It did change a little bit, but I will not blame corona for this at all. It's just been a minor nuisance. It has made me wait to see my wife again, but it's not changed anything else than that. Nothing really. But then something started to happen which was very interesting. I saw a bigger decline in network that people are starting blocking me, unfriending me, and maybe muting me. I don't know. That's fair. If you don't enjoy my content, if you don't want to see my tweets, if you don't know who I am, or if you just feel like, oh yeah, this guy's an idiot, or he's retarded or something, it's fair. I fully agree to that. I fully understand it. It's fine. But the thing is, it's not only friends, it was also somewhat big people in the industry that for some reason has come to block me. And it's not like I couldn't care, but it also started to hit a little bit. And around, I think March, a little bit after I moved, I started feeling more, not depressed, but felt like everything was going to be, it kind of got a little bit worse again. I had a lot of creative ideas that I wanted to put out, but I didn't really do anything about it. And I still don't. I started losing every single reason I had for doing anything. Like kind of losing everything for ambition, motivation. I'm still studying now, by the way. But that's basically everything I do. I do stream sometimes, but lately that has been, I wake up, I sit here for a couple hours, do my studies, sit here for a couple more hours until I go to bed. I have a very hard time moving out of this. And I don't exactly know what the reasons is, but I do know that a lot of stuff have been piled up over the years, and it's very hard to deal with, especially when you don't really know who you can trust anymore. You don't really feel like you have a connection to anyone, not even friends, even if you try to. And I don't mean to be mean to anybody who feels like they're my friend now, and that's fair. But the way I see a friend is someone you actually talk to, someone who you actually communicates to you, who actually writes to you or talks to you, who actually wants to share the time for any reason. Doesn't mean that they want to share their negative sides, or they want to share like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, or they need help. It could be like, hey, watermelon's good, you know? Like any reason. But since the decline of after I quit VR chat, it's honestly that disappeared. It kind of felt like nobody had any reason anymore to talk to me, and it's fair. I'm again, like, I can understand all sides of it. Again, content creating is a business over anything, but it's very sad when you keep seeing, and I'm not talking about, oh, I grow too big, I can't talk to. It's not about that, but it's very sad to see that when all your friends, even way before they were anything, that they grow up and they kind of just forget about you. And I see this everywhere. I see this everywhere that is, oh yeah, I'm easy to talk to. I don't have any friends. I'm not content. I'm not this and not this. But that's fair. I completely understand all of those valid arguments you have. But the point is, I don't see them. You know, sometimes from an outside perspective, you can't see it. But from my side, I literally don't talk to anybody. I talk to my wife every single day. And some people will be like, yeah, but at least you have your wife. That's fair. And I do. And I appreciate every single moment I have with her. I love her to bits and I miss her. But you need more than one connection. You don't need... If I was put on a fucking stranded island, would I survive alone? Sure. I've never really been a person that has a huge network, but it does hurt a little bit when you start to realize that everything you've been to people was access, was a source, right? Because the thing is, I have sometimes gone on VR chat without any notice, really telling anybody, not for making content, but just saying hi, because apparently that's the only way you can talk to people. It's through that. You can't DM, but you can say hi on VR chat. Most of the time I get, oh, where have you been? I missed you. I've this and that, and it's cool. But you know, my DM, like my Twitter, my Discord is literally just one click away. It's all this. It's even easier to do that than to wait for me half a year later going on VR chat, and then for me to join you and then say those things. And you might say them out like just to be nice, that's fine. But then I'd rather not hear it. And I get it. Everyone's busy. Everyone has their own problems. But it is sad though. It is sad to see this thing. And I don't know. The thing is, and at least that is what I found out, when you lose this kind of motivation and ambition for everything, the only real answer is to not find something new to move on, is to basically just pick yourself up, which is the hardest part. I've done that so many times now that nobody seemed to even know. For the longest time, I've had some people ask me, how have you been, or how are you doing, or are you okay, because of something specific, but truly, I don't think that anybody could point out at any given point of my friends that would know I'm not okay, because I haven't been for a very long time. And I'm not pointing fingers that they should know. But I'm simply saying, you know, if you are a friend to somebody, you feel like you're a really good friend, think about it. Do you actually truly know your friends? Because I don't. I could name every single friend I have right now that I know I can jump in and I can talk to, because it's very easy to talk to people. You don't have to be a specific person, even if you're shy. It's very easy. But you truly know them just because you can talk to them? No, not really. And you will never truly know anybody fully. That's the thing. When you kind of know the answer to all your problems, it still doesn't allow you to move on. It's about just getting up. That's the hardest part. And that is what I've been dealing with for a very long time, to find that excuse to getting up and continue what I'm doing. But content creating, doing YouTube, doing a lot of creative stuff, even though you find it interesting, even though there's I didn't do it for views or to grow or for money or anything, it's still very hard to continue doing it when you never really get a positive outlook on it, you know. There's a very thin line between something that is very enjoyable but is absolutely completely useless to do when there's no reason to do it, you know. Like you work for money. Even though you might enjoy it, you still get something for it. You can enjoy work, yeah, sure, doing content and all that stuff, but without the other benefit, and I know it's very controversial to talk about how many would actually do it, because when something becomes very unusable, like say like you're a content creator, right? Have good views, but you don't make any money from it. You don't make any money at all, but you enjoy it. But you also live alone in an apartment you have to pay for. You have to pay for food. You might have studies as well. Content creating should be your latter choice, not the first priority, even though that might be your dream. I think anybody could agree to this, because first of all, your life, you have to think about yourself before you can think about anyone else, which I see that as a huge mistake when a lot of people, they try to bounce this off, think about anyone else, and then they're like, oh yeah, I'm sad now, I'm depressive, yeah, but because you don't work on yourself. Then there's other people who work so much on themselves that they no longer can see other people. But in the end, I don't know what the reason for this is. I don't know why. I'm trying to fix myself, or not fix myself, but I'm trying to find a resolution in all of this. And again, I'm not throwing punches to anyone, but this is truly how I feel and who I am, and I just don't know what to do. I'm trying. Tried for a long time. So if you're somebody out there, I don't know, who can use this for any reason, if I decide to upload it, here you go. I'm not asking for money. I just want to be clear on that. I'm not asking for people to be like, oh, I've seen your video and you're a friend of mine, and oh, I've seen your video and I just want to let you know I'm here for you and stuff like that. I don't care. If you want to talk to me as a human being, you know. Don't talk to me just because you feel like something's wrong. Treat me as a human, like anyone else. I might be an asshole. I might say a lot of stuff and I might do a lot of banter. Doesn't mean I can't be nice, you know. Everyone has a different personality. Everyone changes over time, but yeah. I should be back soon. If you care about streams, content, or anything, I'm trying. It's gonna be a slow uphill, but I should be back soon. If you want to join the Discord, or you want to see the stupid stuff I tweet, or Instagram, whatever, links should be down below. And also link some very nice people that I enjoy, that either meant a lot to me, who has been an inspiration, or anything like that. And then you can decide for yourself. This is me, Yufi, signing off. And if you're still here at that point, thank you for listening. Peace.